So welcome to this video on Tritone Substitutions Explained. It's Paul Tobey here, and we are going to dive into the whole concept of tritone substitutions. First of all, we're going to talk about what it is. Then we're going to look at where to apply it in the context of an actual tune. And we've been working on the ballad Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most, so that's a good place to apply this concept to. So the first thing we need to talk about is what is a tritone? So if you're in the key of F, the dominant chord which leads to F major 7 is what we call C7. So 5 of F is C7. In this case, it's just in root position. And the tritone is the two leading tones. So the third of the chord and the seventh of the chord. Those are what we call, again, leading tones. Why? Because they determine the character of the chord, the type of chord. In this case, a dominant chord. So when it's 3 and flat 7, that's a dominant chord. And 7 wants to fall to become 3 of the next chord. And 3 wants to remain the same to become the 7th of the next chord. So if we were to write the whole chord, it's F, E, and C added. So 1, 3, 5, and 7 of C7 falling to F major 7. So that tritone, which is the third and the seventh, if you turn those around so that 7th is the E and the B flat is the third, that means you've got a G flat, and there's our third, and there's our fifth, and there's our 7th, which is the E natural. So this is the chord. So that's a G flat 7. So G flat 7 is the tritone substitution of C7, and C7 is the tritone substitution of G flat 7. So that means that we can approach F major 7 with the G flat 7. So instead of playing C7 to F major 7, we can do this. And using some type of voicing. So that's where to apply it. Typically, you're going to apply a tritone substitution to a dominant chord leading to a destination chord. Now, it doesn't always have to be 1. It can be 3, it can be 5. Wherever it's leading, whatever the destination chord is, that's when to use a tritone substitution. So why do this? And the answer is it makes the chord a little more dissonant, gives it a little more character. So there's lots of ways you can voice these things. So let's take a look at it now in a real-world context. And like I said, we've been working on the song Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most. And I want you to stick around until the end of the video because I'm going to play the entire piece for you using plenty of tritone substitutions. So the first one that I noticed that we can put in, and again, it's really all about where you think the destination chord is and where the tritone substitution makes the most sense. And usually your ear and experience can hear it. So from the beginning of the tune. So this is the first place we're going to put it. So instead of E minor 7, if this were an E7 chord, the tritone substitution of that is B flat 7. So again, you don't always have to replace a dominant chord, you can replace a minor chord. So B flat 7, and because this note is in the melody, we're going to make it a sharp 11 chord, which means we have C, E, and G. And in the left hand, we're going to play the tritone, which is the leading tones. So we're going to put in A flat and D. So that's a B flat, 7, sharp 11 chord. Okay, so one more time. So what we've done is we've used the tritone substitution 2 different times. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one in front of G flat because the dominant chord would be D7, but the tritone is A flat 7. So D7 and A flat 7 share the same tritone. So we're going to do this. There's our A flat 7 chord to G7. It's really cool because, again, that tritone is a half step up in terms of the root. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to put D flat 7 in front of the C major 7th chord. So again, you can use a tritone substitution approaching any destination chord, whether it's minor, dominant, or major. So one more time. So if we move down the tune a little bit, we can find more places to put it in. So let's play from the beginning of this line here. So what we did there was, instead of this A minor 7, we're putting E flat 7 in some type of format in front of that. What I mean by format is, what is the voicing that we're actually using? So from the F minor 7th chord, just preceding it. And then we're using a B7 sharp 11 chord here. Nice and dissonant, because what you have here is an E natural over an E flat 7 chord, which is very dissonant. Basically a flat 9 with the root of the chord. Usually not always allowed, but in this particular case, it's an E flat 7 with a flat 9 sharp 11. Very cool. So an F major 7th chord on top over E flat 7. As the right hand and the melody goes up, the left hand is going down. So there you go. There's Tritone Substitutions Explained. Let me play the entire piece. Spring can really hang you up the most. And I want you to listen to try and hear all the places where I'm putting in tritone substitutions. And again, the more dissonant it is just before the destination chord, that's likely a good place for a tritone substitution. Okay, let me play the tune, and then I'll come back and I will give you a link to the sheet music. So did you hear all the places where I put in tritone substitutions? I hope your ears can hear that. All right, let me put a link to the Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most sheet music up here in the corner. It's got the chord symbols and the melody, gives you an opportunity to work out your own voicings. And I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And when you subscribe to the channel, just hit the little bell because you'll be notified of all the other upcoming videos that we are making. Thanks so much for your time. I'll see you in the next video.